This has been one hell of a trip. That is how I describe my 60-odd years of government service. My name is Alfred Budris. I've been with the Army continuously as a military and as a civil service for nearly 65 years. I joined the Army in November of '53, actually a little bit before that, and I went active duty, and I was assigned overseas to Japan. From there, I finished my military career and I joined the civil service using the same job, and from there to Okinawa in 1956. And from 1956 November to today, I have been stationed on Okinawa. And this was considered Ryukyu Islands, of which the U.S. was the administrator. So everything that occurred at Okinawa was under some kind of a U.S. law or U.S. regulation. There was no Japanese administration at all. If you were a Japanese citizen and you wished to come to Okinawa, you had to get a visa issued by the High Commissioner's office. And we had a High Commissioner, and we had a U.S. civil administration headed by a one-star general at that time. And their sole mission was the development and administration of the Ryukyu Islands. That placed us in a little different position, not as a conquering force, but as an administrator trying to heal the war wounds and develop the economy. Driving was on U.S. standard. Everything looked like U.S. As a matter of fact, prior to 1972, a lot of the cars were American, not Japanese. All the taxis, the base taxis, all large American cars. Because there was no import tax from U.S., it was just shipping charge. Well, after reversion, of course, the study of making the switch started actually a little bit before. We had to change all the highway signs, naturally, from English to Japanese and place them on the other side of the road. And this started months before, and when the signs were completed, they had canvas covers over them. And then in some cases, you had to actually make physical changes to the highways and the roads to accommodate this. Then there was a lot of PR on the media and of course, the news to prepare the Okinawans and the Americans too for driving on the other side of the road. Well, on the day they were supposed to make the change on a Sunday. Well, a Saturday night, midnight, all traffic was to cease. There was no traffic at all on any other highways. And then the work crews took all the canvas signs, the canvas off the sign they had just prepared, and put them on the old signs. Then, all that was done, then 6 o'clock in the morning, you were permitted to drive on, of course, the Japanese standard, left side of the road. And everyone was out 20, 30 miles an hour, very, very carefully. And of course, then after a few days, they became used to it and became almost normal. We anticipated all kinds of accidents and mayhem, but actually, it was very smooth, very easily accomplished. I'll answer that off camera. That's a very sensitive subject, politically sensitive. Very few people are aware of it and know about it. But it involved President Nixon. And I won't go any further with that, just drop it right there. And off camera later on, we can discuss it. It's still very sensitive. We had our own contingency planning in the event that Saigon fell. All of our people were to scatter to the four winds: Rangoon, Mandalay, Cambodia, Laos, wherever they could get to. And within 10 days, we were to gather in Hong Kong, where we had an office there. America maintained an office there. It was sort of clandestine. And then, of course, after the 10 days, we would gather and evaluate and what the losses were and what happened and so on. Of course, they described how they were overrun by the Air Force Vietnamese refugees, and that's why we lost our primary operation base. In effect, we loaned these aircraft to Air America to do this job for us. They were not their aircraft, they were ours, on our books. So we had to account for them. So that's part of the operation. We had to see how much we had left, what was lost, what was damaged, etc. Supplies, the whole logistic 9 yards.
Were you on orders when you were, say, on these missions? And if so...
I was on orders, but they were classified.
You returned, were your orders destroyed? What?
They were destroyed.
So basically the mission never happened, basically, correct?
Except for my after-action report. Well, the most interesting experience, I met the King of Thailand. He was a proper Bostonian, and several times I've been shot at. Fortunately, people who were using weapons were poor shots, they missed me. There was an assassin who was following me, this is in Saigon, during Tet. Tet, as you know, is the Lunar New Year. That was interesting. Sort of interesting. The outcome, if the guy was successful, would have been not good for me. Because this is where I landed. I could have landed in Germany and done the same thing. Wherever I wind up being, I study, like I said, the local customs, culture, history, as much as possible, so get into it. If you understand the local customs and cultures, the way they think, it's a lot easier. I don't have any trouble. You probably noticed in the office there, our relationship with the local staff is excellent. Because I understand them. I understand their culture. I understand the language. I understand where they're coming from. And I understand what their goals in life are. So this makes working a lot easier.